One person doesn't have to do everything when it comes to digital. You'll need to gather a team around you. Social media never sleeps, and sometimes you'll want to. It's also really good safeguarding practice to have more than one person as the administrator on every social media account that you run. So when you've gathered a team, even if it's just one other person, do an analysis of your gifts so that you can allocate responsibilities between you. You can always draw in other people from your wider church family for specific jobs. For example, you might find you've got a passionate photographer in your church congregation. Why not ask them to take photos for you that you can post on social media? When you're assessing the gifts of your team, it's also a really good idea to ask the question, where are our native digital spaces? In other words, which are the platforms where we spend most of our time normally, authentically as ourselves? You might find that you have people who spend a lot of time on Twitter and love Twitter, in which case ask them to take responsibility for tweeting on behalf of your church. We should not move into spaces where we're not natives simply for the sake of broadcasting our content there. For example, if you're not a TikTok native, it's not good missional practice to set up a TikTok account anyway and start posting content about faith. Leave that platform to the Christian TikTokers already there to talk about their faith. Or if there is something exciting to you about TikTok and you really want to give it a go, then set up an account and spend some time just soaking it up and getting to know the platform before you start posting content on behalf of your church or your circuit. This is good missional practice. We occupy our native spaces and we embody the good news there, rather than colonising spaces which aren't authentically ours. So, you've got your team, you know your gifts, you know your native spaces. It's a good idea to meet regularly with your team. You'll need to agree on a few things. For example, a shared tone of voice document, and you can refer to the other video in this series, Who Are We Online, to help you with this. As well as good practice policies, and you can refer to the video Curating Safe Spaces and Building Trust to help you with this. Remember that your church's social media channels are your church's voice in the digital world. You want to make sure that the team of people responsible for posting are equipped, inspired, and sustained for this as much as possible. Depending on your team and on the views of your church or circuit leadership, you might want to, especially at the outset when you're setting up new channels, have some kind of sign-off process so that posts are being checked by somebody with formal authority. A big part of running social media channels is, of course, posting content, but actually the most time-consuming and arguably the most important in terms of communicating effectively is monitoring and engaging. This can be a day-to-day task, replying to comments, responding to direct messages, and liking, commenting and sharing other people's posts. You might want to have like a duty rota for this, so that people take it in turns to be responsible for monitoring and engagement, maybe 1 week of every month. The more you engage, the more you'll have to do. Engagement breeds engagement. So it may be that you have to set limits for yourself and recognise your own capacity. But make sure you do have somebody keeping half an eye on the accounts most of the time in case something concerning happens that you need to deal with. So, to conclude, gather a team, assess your gifts and your native spaces, draw in others from your wider church family with particular expertise, meet regularly and agree to policies. And finally, don't forget about engagement and monitoring.